Okay, testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing. Okay. Looks like I finally got that part straight. Let me see if I can bring it up on YouTube. Hello, Lashes Journey. The fabulous Miss Lashes. You look so good. You look so good. And I'm always out and about when you're out and about every morning. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Am I loud and clear? Am I loud and clear? I haven't been home this morning. I was out taking care of some errands. Oh, I actually had some oral surgery yesterday and it didn't go well. It didn't go well. I When I got home, the one stitch that they put in, I had a molar taken out because my tooth broke off during the you know what that was going around. And I was apprehensive about going to the dentist. I didn't want anybody to touch me, go in public places. And then I was scheduled to have you're welcome, to have a hip replacement. Well, when you have major organ transplants or whatnot, you can't face red heart shape. I don't know what that means. My face is red? Oh, yeah, it's a little swollen. I have a full face anyway, but today it's really, really acting up. And then I came home, and when I took the gauze out of my mouth finally in the afternoon, of course, the dentist's office was closed. And guess what? The stitch had come loose already. So I waited all night, called them today, and well, I know I'm live because you're here, and I know there's a lag on going into YouTube. I'm not sure how to go straight to live from YouTube. It's just a heart. Thank you. I like hearts, especially purple hearts. That's my placekeeper when I'm doing things. I can always find that. So I will just start talking. Have you started your summer garden, Miss Lashes? I was late actually posting that I was going live because actually everybody's coming in. Hello, Joanne Stevens, my little sister. Thank you for coming. I wasn't sure, Lashes, if I was going to go live because I didn't know if my face would be all puffed up. It's a little puffy, but well, it is what it is, right? And we just make the best of it. I can remember my dad going up. You did plant some watermelon today? Oh, I'm coming to Florida and rent one of your places for a B&B. I remember growing up and my dad never took a day off from work. He worked 3 jobs. And I mean, big things would happen to him. He would get hurt. Hello, Unbiased LLC, Blissful Acres, Susan, Hands in the Dirt. I figured if Hands in the Dirt could make it after he had oral surgery, that I would man up, put my big girls on, and I would do the same thing. Except his stitches didn't fall out. And he had, as they say, extra help. I was in the bushes last night watching, couldn't laugh because it made my face hurt. Hello, GG Naturals. I think I just missed your live today when I got home, GG. Hello, my granny's garden, Miss Viola. Thank you and welcome for coming. I get it, Gigi. I just wanted you to know that I did see you, and you are right about what you said. I sent you a text message telling you your message about, you know, message being received. Everybody, everybody, everything is not for everybody. And I don't even try. I get in where I fit in. I want a small channel. I like knowing who's here. And if I keep my channel small and I don't have a lot of expenses, I don't I can try to get away. I want to have an open membership where everybody can come because not everybody has a nana, an auntie, whatever. And uh-oh, I want everybody to come to Auntie Ellen's house, not on Sunday, or Big Mama's house. I want them to come to my house on Thursday. And we share what we share and do what we do. Hello, Meg's Chaotic Gardening. I saw you today when I was trying to be quiet and rest up for my live. I saw you unboxing a new hydroponic system, a different hydroponic system, shall I say. And I think that's the one I have. I will be doing a major regrouping. Lasha's Journey was just saying that she planted her watermelon today, and I was getting envious of everybody in the warm zones, all the eights and nines and everything. And then when I saw the frost come and getting your stuff, I'm like, I'm glad, I'm glad, I'm glad. Susan of Blissful Acres said raises pigs, and she has this huge embroidery machine, bunches of stuff. But she sent me a message today. I haven't been able to get back to it. That she cooked something home pork, and that she made cornbread. I hope you used Auntie Ellen's recipe. Just reaching for some stuff I grabbed. I dropped you guys. Of course, of course, of course. So I is who else is growing something already? Can you raise your hands, please? I want to see what you're growing. And I want to try to pull up my own my own here we are. Pull up. Dun, 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 dun. I'm learning. I even did a quick little short this morning because I did not post the regular weekly live until this morning because I wasn't sure if I'd be able to do it, but you guys will help me if I get stuck. Unbiased LLC, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. So, hello, mommy. You guys, my mom is in the hospital for a few days, and when I called her earlier, she asked me if I was going live. Hello, Barb Brownlee. Thank you and welcome for coming. I appreciate each and every one of you. And if you can, everybody who's here, please push the thumbs up button because we get so busy later on and something might happen, we get cut off. I want the algorithms to kick in. Sometimes I post the just an out of the blue video, a short. Like one morning I was out in the snow. That video got like 1,000 views before I could even get back in the house. Another day I was in the park and almost got run over by two reindeer, and that one had 3,000 hits. I don't understand how it works. I'm just glad I have a few, not a few, I have a lot of subscribers, and that you guys are tried and true, true family. Blissful Acres, you love coming to my house. Thank you. I was brainstorming today, trying to think of how I could get some of your homegrown pork. It would have to be in the wintertime. It would have to be some type of cooling, but then with the shipping and everything. You guys, a little bit about myself. My sister Joanne says she noticed new blossoms on the Meyer lemon tree this morning. You guys, her lemon tree is 2 stories high. I can't wait to be out there. Oh, sorry, you guys. That's my baby sister calling. She doesn't know that I go live on Thursdays. But I can't wait to be out there when it's time when you can cut the the branches because the gardeners throw so many away. And I'm thinking about all those lemon trees that we could be growing from scratch. Speaking of which, I'm going to show you guys some mail that I got, some seeds. I want you, do you see this? This is Russian Bocking 14 comfrey. It was sent to me in the mail this week. This stuff grows so fast. It was literally this big when I took it out of the box. It's trying to go to seed already. And you can't grow this from seed. I bought some comfrey that you can grow from seed, but it's not this Russian Bocking, Bocking 14. So what I'm going to do is clip this one here and root it and let this one bunch out. And I have three pieces. This one, don't tell her because she's picking up her kids from school, her grandkids. My sister, Yankee sister, homestead. Well, this is supposed to be hers, but I don't know. Stuff happens. I told her she doesn't get over here and claim it. It might be given away. Next week, I'm going to give and some type of a little party, a monetization party. Excuse me, my tongue is still asleep from all that, the needles and stuff yesterday. So I'm going to have an appreciation and monetization party. And what I will be doing, oh, hola, hermana, Yankee Sister Homestead. Her kids must have told her that Auntie Ellen was on the was live talking about her butt. Well, Yankee Sister, I don't know if you're able to see me. Hello, Bouger Prepper, and welcome Sabrina. Sabrina means niece in Espanol. Yankee Sister, this is your personal Russian Bocking 14 comfrey, and it was this big when it came in the mail. It came from a sister channel, Irene's Garden. We made friends before I even started a channel, and she sent me three pieces. So one can't be greedy, can one? So I said I would give this one to Yankee's sister, but I don't know. I don't know. She might not get it. I might auction it off. Hello, I bring it every day. Thank you for coming, Kelly. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm just kidding, Yankee Sister. This is yours, but these really should be trimmed because they're starting to go to seed already. I know what happened. They were in the ground, in the soil in Ohio, because that's where my friend lives. And I brought it inside, and it's under the grow lights from the hydroponic system. So it's just going to town over here. I am going to clip it though because I want it to get thick and I want the roots to go. So, hello, Erica Taylor. Welcome. Thank you for coming. She's gardening but listening. Rudy Iraheta, thank you. Thank you for coming. Well, I received some mail this week, for those of you who are gardening. And I hope I said hi to everybody. If I didn't, I'm sorry I didn't see you, but I thank you and I'm glad that you're here. So I received some mail this week, and some of the mail I got, I will cover the address. And this is from G Mama Grows. Everybody's such a wonderful moderator. She goes in everybody's chat. She's a veteran. And she sent me what I'm so excited about, you guys. I have been growing. My sister will tell you, I have been gardening for at least 70 years. I had my first worm farm when I was 4 years old. I used to collect fireflies, worms, caterpillars, all that stuff. Hello, Nicole Smith, and Growing What I Eat. Welcome. Thank you for coming. And of course, I would bring them in the house accidentally. They would accidentally get brought in the house, accidentally put in the closet. Then I would accidentally have nightmares at night when my parents turned the lights out and those little things on the chenille bedspreads would turn into worms and start crawling all over me to punish me for bringing them in the house. Oh my goodness. So these seeds are from G Mama's garden, and it's something I've never grown in 70 years. I have black cumin, red ISO, HISO, and a calendula mix. I am focused on doing things I've never done before, and that ain't much. Pardon the grammar, Mom, if you're listening. My mother didn't like us to say ain't. She would say is not, is not. And so these are new seeds that I have never grown before. I have grown hydroponically for the first time in my life. I have never grown hydroponically, and I'm so excited because I have a community garden now, and I have four-legged pests and two-legged pests out there. So now mine is safe. Yankee Sister said, "Uh-oh, here we go with the accidents. Accidental shopping. My car takes me in places that sell seeds and plants, just out of control." Hello, Brampton Gardener, if I didn't say it already. Nicole Smith Gardening. Okay, so more seeds that I got. And with a nice little note from Irene's Garden. It says, "Dear Miss Ellen, this comfrey is Russian Bucking 14. It doesn't spread via seed, but it does multiply underground. It's multiplied immensely just in this 1 week. It is so beneficial." I'm reading this in case there's somebody who does not know. "It is beneficial to all plants and people too. I've shared it with many people and they have all reported lush green plants. So I hope it happens the same for you." And it already has. Blessings to you and your garden. Yay! This is my cowbell. No, it's not a cowbell. This is my goat bell from my lead goat. Her name was Lilac. Oh, for those of you who do not know, they just think I'm just a nice little old lady. Yep, it fell in my cart, Mike's Fayetta Gardner. I grew up in what's now like a moderate sized town in Stamford, Connecticut. We lived in an apartment, like a townhouse when we were little, but we always had a garden. We had a garden like outside our door, and then my dad always rented a space for a garden. And he's from North Carolina. His parents earned a living as a farmer, and he quit school after junior high school so that he could help his parents farm. And then he moved to Connecticut, married my mom, and they moved from there into the house that mommy has now, a big, like 9 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms. It's a family home. So we've all grown up there. The snowball fight that you saw recently when I posted the kids, there's been 50 years of snowball fights. Somebody said, looking for comfrey. Uh, there are no seeds for this type of comfrey, Nicole Smith. If you send me an email, let's see if I can do this. An email. It's ellenpanky@gmail.com. And you put, I only have a little bit, but I'm willing to share it. I'm going to root a piece of the three pieces that I have now. I'm willing to send you a piece. And for those of you, my Cash App is there. Oh, $ Ellen Pankey 13. And my email is ellenpanky@gmail.com. So back to the comments. So my history of growing and gardening. I then moved to Washington, D.C. I bought my first house, an investment, when I was 24. I bought a second property with my husband in North Carolina. It was 4 acres, but we leased another 21 acres. I have grown like 5 acres of oats at a time for the horses. I have had horses, thoroughbreds, quarter horses, gaited horses, ponies, and Arabian. I've had pigs. I've had cows. I've had goats. I've raised ducks. I've raised chickens. Hey, G Mama Grows. I was just talking about you and reading off the beautiful seeds that you sent me. So I have grown a lot of stuff. I have owned houses in California, in Los Angeles, in the city, and we grew lots of things, lots of veggies. My dad would come out and we had all these fancy stuff. We lived in a place of Los Angeles called the Baldwin Hills Estates. And my dad used to say, Pen, you can't eat the flowers. We had all these landscaped terraces and everything. One day alone, he planted 100 rose bushes for me. But guess what? In between the hibiscus and all the other trees, Daddy planted collards. I had so many collards growing up along these 6 foot concrete walls, and they didn't die in the summertime. I mean, in the wintertime, I would be giving collards to neighbors like in black construction trash bags. I got them, G Mama Grows. Georgia, Georgia Peachnut Garden sent me a package, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited, you guys. And there are two different types of elderberries. One is called John, one is called elderberry. I'm keeping them in this moist package because they're rooting already. And I'm going to wait until they root some more and then to just put the nodules into the soil. And they are going to go crazy, just like that Russian Backing comfrey. Some of the other seeds I got from David Corey, Farmer David Corey. He's always calling us. Oh, I can show you the back of this envelope because he's so smart. Uh, I think I said hello to I Bring It Every Day. And he put my P.O. box going from, going to. So if anything messed up, they would return it. So I would get it every way. You're still working on Dexter. Oh, I used to train dogs. Um, Brampton Gardner, big dogs, guard dogs, 170 pound um, real guard dogs called Cane Corso Italian Mastiffs. And my dogs were trained to hand signals and everything. I could walk 4 of them at a time in the city here in New Haven, Connecticut. People would cross the street. At that time, they had never seen dogs that big. They were like pit bulls on steroids, but my dogs were. Dexter thinks he's 170 pounds. Oh, they're so sweet. Hello, Miss Janita, Blue Lotus Vibes. Thank you for coming. So I'm going to put my second hydroponic garden on. I'm cleaning everything out. I have learned that there, for me, the hydroponic garden is good for rooting, for growing things, for starting them, but they have too many roots and you have to clean them all out every 2 months anyway. Hello, Sister Linda, the New Orleans garden. Thank you and welcome. Thank you for coming. She is the cutest little granddaughter, Jada, who has her own raised beds and garden. She's the cutest little girl. And I remember when my great grandchildren were that young, and I had them out in the garden playing in dirt, feeding goats, going to my friends' orchards and getting fruit to feed them. So in this pack are my purple green. Oh, you know what I need? If anybody can find it in their heart, I need some mullein. I need some mullein to clear my lungs out, and I haven't been able to find any mullein. I had some a little while ago. You're welcome. You're welcome, Miss Linda. And I know that you're working when I'm on here usually, but I have a label for your grandmother's quilt and I want to send it to you. So I need to get her name and some information. I have your address to send it to, but I have a little package for you, Miss Linda, because you give to the world. Brampton Gardner says mullein grows wild behind her house, and she always gets a few in my yard. I had one and I moved it because I wanted to overwinter it. I don't know what happened to it, but it's gone now. So I have purple mustards, purple top turnips, true lavender chives, red ochre cabbage, Mizuna benhushi, dark purple basil, and common purple thyme that I will be planting next. And guess what? Those are all things that I have not grown in my almost 75 years. Okay. So I've mentioned to the people who just came in that I will be having next Thursday an appreciation and monetization party. And there will be a couple of giveaways, and they will be handmade things. This one is one of the things you saw me working on while you were here live. And this will be one of the big gifts that I will give out next week. Hello, Nikki, the everyday life of an OCD-ish chick. And I love this pocket that I made. It says family, love, home. Why? Because GQUAT Traditionzs, the family reunion bus, we're all family. Friends become family, and family is everything. But this is a special bag. It is got the special pocket. I changed the handles. I made them lightweight so that they wouldn't pull the bag down. And inside there will be, I wanted you to see how I construct it. This is what I use in the bottom of my totes. This is the needlepoint plastic. I like to double it up, put a piece of batting, and then I sew it into a little pocket like this and put it in the inside. And this one, instead of putting a button on it, because it's small and heavy, I'm going to put a tie so that you can really put a lot of stuff in it. So next Thursday we will be having a, a little giveaway, and it'll be something easy. Something I like the way Tina did hers, something with numbers. But the last time I had a giveaway, I forgot to tell the rules. So what happened to my comments? There they are. Um, to win, you have to live in the US. To get a prize, you have to live in the US. But I've been thinking about it because I have some special subscribers that live out of the country. Thanks, Barb Brownlee. She loves the bag tote. I love making them, and they are so sturdy. They literally last forever. So to get a prize, you have to live in the United States. You have to be over 18, and you have to be a scriber. But I think that if somebody really wins, and I know they've been a subscriber for a long time, it's actually, and I found out, shipping stuff overseas, the smallest package can cost you $88, $100. So I can send a cash app, a consolation prize, if someone outside of the US wins, and I will, excuse me, I'm always dropping stuff. So I'll send like a backup prize of $5 or something, because my aim, it's a monetization party, and I'm trying to grow ways to grow the business and bring more content. And some of the ways you can do that is by watching the ads. I do have a Cash App, a PayPal. I got two super chats. They're back there. And I have an Amazon wish list. What do I want to do? I want to help the Jeep go to get fabrics for Quilts of Valor, to help with the seniors in the building. Some of them, I shared a story, don't have a lot. And I try to help out, like when you couldn't even buy a mask when you needed it. This is not a whether you should or should not wear a mask. People were required to, and we couldn't get any. At least 4 or 5 people in my building died of the you know what because they didn't have any way to protect themselves. So I made about 2,000 max. I took them to the hospitals. I made hats for preemie units, for veterans group, for breast cancer. I do a little bit at a time, and some of um, the people who came to my classes, I was teaching in person then. Yeah, that is so sad, Nikki, about the people dying. Some people, oh, well, I don't want to talk about that because I don't want to make anybody sad. But some of the other prizes that will be given away, and they will be handmade prizes because everybody, I wish I had something that my grandmother had made with her hands, like a quilt, a dishcloth, a bedspread, something. I do have my maternal grandmother's sewing machine. It's over there in the corner, and it's a big one. I haven't showed you guys that one. You finally use all your super juice around your trees. You went outside today, and Lord have mercy. Neighbors have to be mad at you right now. Well, you probably couldn't smell it from the anesthesia from getting your tooth removed and your other medicine. So a couple of the other prizes I will be giving out next Thursday will be a hand crocheted dishcloth, a casserole pad, the mylar pad. Remember the silver one that I was crocheting? I don't know what you guys will do with it, but there'll be gifts from Auntie Ellen and Nana. Okay, so now this is the part where we talk about books. Some of the other channels have been talking about a book, A Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I read that, and my children have read that. My children are not children. My children are older than a lot of you guys. Both of my children are in their 50s, but and they have successful careers. Dang hands in the dirt, Yankee Sister said, out there stanking up the place. One of the books they were talking about was a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Well, this book pertains to everyone. It says Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice. Regardless of history, the Civil War, we didn't start the Civil War, and we have to live with everything. Hands in the dirt said his yard smells like hogs. We have to live with it, and we have to communicate and all live in the world together. One of the things about me, Growing What I Eat sent a $1.99 super sticker. Thank you very much, sir. Because you know what? That will get me to the dollar and a quarter store. That will get me there. And we all have to live in this world together. Tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. I have friends, my sister and I, we have friends of all races: white, black, Latino, Italian, you name it, Jewish. I can speak Yiddish, among other things. I know a lot of different, little bit about a lot of stuff. And we all call each other sister and brother. And we all have different religions. We're a different colored skin. I have family that's international, that live in different parts of the world. So we all have to get along. Getting to this book, it's called Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice. And Dennis Kimbrough is an associate of Napoleon Hill, who, when he died, he wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. Dennis Kimbrough has taken Napoleon Hill's masterpiece and set it on the cutting edge. By combining ideas for achievement with his own wisdom, Dennis Kimbrough has, in fact, redefined success not just for Black America, but for anyone lucky enough to read a copy of this book. It will long stand as the definitive guide for anyone in search of success. And about Dennis Kimbrough, PhD, he lectures across the country for the Napoleon Hill Foundation, and consults with small business. He has written for Success and many other magazines. He lives where? In Georgia. All you Georgia family, and with his family. Okay. And okay, those of you who are running a channel monetized and doing what you need to grow larger in the world. Brampton Gardner says we have friends from all over and different religions. We all celebrate together. We do too, Brampton. One time when I was at my house in the DMV, the first house that I bought by myself was in a place called Oxon Hill, Maryland. It used to be Capitol Heights. And coworkers, one of my coworkers was looking for my house and driving up and down the street. They said, "Oh, Ellen, I didn't know that was your yard. You know, there were so many different kids, different colors. It was like the United Nations." Um, G Mama Grows, could you please, if you can find it, post my Amazon wish list? Thank you. Thank you. And I'm not wishing for anything big. I've already had anything that anybody could want in life. Now, all I want to do is live happily ever after on my fixed little income. If I had any more, I don't know what would happen to it. I was telling you, like the lady in the garden and her husband passed. She knocked on my door and she asked me if she could have some soil for my garden. Why? Because no matter what language they speak, they know that I share in the building. If I have extra food, I go put it on the community table. If I have extra clothing, I go put it on the community table. My family doesn't want it. You know, they probably think I'm old fashioned. They're always telling me, "Oh, mom, don't wear that." Nana, what is that? I wear things just to aggravate them. So what do? They go buy me all these little outfits you see that you like. They buy them. They don't want me wearing my old gardening stuff to their house. A funny story. Stacy Hands in the Dirt is one of the first people I met on YouTube, and he challenged me to do a video. It was a really good video. He challenged the garden to tea challenge. And so I went to my garden and picked some herbs. I have a lot of perennial herbs out there, but I pretended I was marching, doing left, 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 right, left. She had a good home, but she lived, left. First they hired me, then they fired me, then by golly, I knew a girl back in old Kentucky. She couldn't dance, but she sure could left. So anyway, they started calling me G.I. Jane, some kind of whatever. When I'm in Arizona, when I was able to walk 3 miles, we walk 5 o'clock in the morning, and I call cadence. Some of you know that my very first job out of college, my real job, I was a police officer for 6 years. Before that, I was in a marching band as a majorette from junior high school to high school. I can march. I can march. You singing the cadence? Yeah, I'm singing them the nice way, not some of the Marine Corps ones that my brother knows. But they were talking about me like, "Oh, GI Jane, GI Jane." I'm like, whatever. But I made a great video and I tried some of the best. I know a lot, hands in there. I know the military cadence, left columns, left, left column, right, and all the fancy. And when I was at Howard University, I was a majorette the first 2 years. And have you seen some of the HBCU, historically black colleges and universities? Have you seen them dance and march? Oh, Auntie could dance. Auntie could get down. There wasn't a parade in Stamford, Connecticut until Auntie came throwing her baton up and acting a fool out there. Yeah. I've had a good life. So now I'm content being a sweet little auntie. And when I tell you guys story, I always say I knew somebody who, or I'm asking for a friend. I can't tell you that it was really me, but my family knows. My family knows. Going back to going back to those of you with a channel, when you present business reports, try to get money. G Mama Girl say, okay, Majorette. Yeah, yeah. I still get I still get goosebumps when I hear an HBCU band like Florida A&M or some of those big marching bands. I still get goosebumps. Sweet little auntie, uh-huh, uh-huh. I used to do Beyonce All the Single Ladies dance until the great grandkids snitched on me and told my daughter. Yep. So this is a copy of a business plan that I did like 25 years ago, and it was for an associate. And the business plan, this one was a New Haven one stop plan for herbal remedies and nutrition, cosmetics, toiletries, fashionable clothing, and a small business center. And in it, you have to put things like an introduction, why you want to do a business, what you'll be selling. You put your footnotes in it, executive summaries, company distinctive competence. I don't want to work for a living. I don't. Yeah, those HBCU bands be stepping. I was stepping with them. Hi, stepping. And you have to put marketing plans, what you, where you plan to put your products, what you plan to do, the potential. You have to address things like patents and trademarks, population of the United States by ethnicity, who your markets are. Howard University alumni here too. I went to Howard University, and guess what? I got the 150-year yearbook, Nikki, and there was a Panky that went to Howard University in 1895. No doubt they were related. We're still doing all the ancestry and family stuff to identify them. There were at least 4 or 5 Pankys that went there before I did, tearing up that band floor. Yes. So I just wanted to show you some of the a management plan, equity plan, capital, and just some of the information that you have to put in. That's what I actually used to do for a living, you guys. I don't talk about it because I don't want to do it. I stick to gardening, cooking from scratch. It's a variety channel, quilting, fine arts, and hello, George RB3 from Oregon. Thank you. Welcome above the GQUAT family bus. GQUAT stands for gardening, quilting, arts, and traditions. This is another research that I did. This was on the country of Haiti. Haiti has a lot of fine arts and artists, colorful art, just as the Dominican Republic. But what I wanted to show you about this was to index your work. When people come, you have a business plan. They don't have time. They really don't want to be bothered, to be honest. And so you want to make it so that it's pleasant to read, it's nicely spaced, and most importantly, at the end, you want to put your bibliography, a list of works cited. There are ways that you do like master's thesis, PhD works. I've had to write all of those things in the past, which is why I don't want to do it now. I just want to do my garden quilts and art traditions. I don't want to be responsible for any work. I have belonged to the state of California Bar Association. I have belonged to the state of Connecticut Bar Association. I'm not a lawyer. Hello, Catherine's Garden. You're here in 6B, not too far from me. Actually, my 2 brothers are from Boston. I used to do a lot of facilitating in Boston for a group called Inroads, which prepped college kids to enter Fortune 500 companies when they graduated. Okay, one last thing that I want to show you before I go. Two things. One person gave me, isn't this cute fabric? It's watermelons, and this is the perfect size to make two journals. So maybe, maybe more, but for sure two journals. So these will go. I have a list of journals that need to go out. My moderators will get them. You keep fish, George? Do you have aquaponics, George RB3? Tell us something about it. Or do you have tilapia? Do you have a pond? You love watermelon? I do too. When we were little, my grandparents used to plant like acres of watermelon. Thank you who like those who like the fabric. Um, and my aunts, when we used to go in the summertime from Connecticut to Pennsylvania, we'd go visit my mom's family. Then we would go to North Carolina and visit my dad's family. And thank you, Miss Catherine. You love the fabric. Thank you. In the future, I will be putting journals up for um, gifts when I do giveaways because I want people to have handmade things because that's one thing money can't buy. Money can't buy love. I want to show you because we're going to segue over to making, and I'll show you how to make an art quilt. I've kind of showed you how to make a tote. You can see it by going going back through the videos. Hello, Auntie Joanna, Joanne Stevens from Bouger Prepper. And this is for those who cannot draw. You don't have to draw. You can buy comic books. This is what I use to teach seniors and children. And what it is, it breaks any type of a photo. G Mama Grossa's handmade things are very special. A comic book breaks down any photo into common lines. If you have a photo that's in a magazine or something like that, you can change it to grayscale, and you can see the different colors, from gray to light to black. But these comic books, and I really like this one because I like a lot of African animals. But for people who don't draw, you can take any picture and trace the outline of it. And then you iron freezer paper to the back of unbleached muslin or bleach muslin. You love a good sweet piece of Georgia watermelon. Me too. Me too, Stacy. Oh, I was telling you about my grandparents' property. We used to go out, and my cousins would take the tobacco sled, hook it up to the old mule, and we just ride around and stop by the cool water springs. It was a deep spring on the property with ice cold water somewhere out there. And my aunts would take and bust a big watermelon, and all we would do would eat the heart out of it, just the heart. Then we go to the next one. We didn't throw it away though because they put the big pieces of the watermelon in the tobacco sled and take it back and feed it to my grandma's hogs. So what I want to show you about this book is like different kinds of animals that you can trace the picture in very simple form. And on fabric, by the time you finish thread painting it, instead of just going around the edges, I will show you in just a minute. If I hold it back by me, you might be able to see it. Like a rhinoceros, elephants, giraffes, donkeys, but any comic book. You can we like to go to the Dollar Tree after you finish the seed section. You can find different kinds of animals. The other day I asked African Dreamin' if he had ever eaten a wildebeest. It's supposed to be like eating buffalo meat, leopards, giraffes. So you can parrots, eaglets, all kinds. But I want to show you how you iron fabric stabilizer to the back of fabric, and then you can do just anything with it. It's not just sewing to make a quilt or something. It's called fiber arts, textile arts. I'm actually a mixed media artist and a master quilter. I make art quilts, wall hangings, and I'm going to show you one in just a second. Did anybody have any questions? Oh, one last thing about gardening, because the final wrap up of the WIG Winter Indoor Gardening, I think between the 15th and the 18th, Mike's Chaotic Gardening is in here and he'll be able to tell you. But you guys remember the about a month ago, 6 weeks ago to 8 weeks ago, I had some pumpkin seeds in my hand and I dropped two of them. Well, I put two of them in this pot and this pumpkin is going crazy. I have cut so many of the pumpkins back because I just want to keep it alive. It's not going outside for another couple of months. And these were never in hydroponics. And these are small Connecticut field pumpkins, but I wanted to have them for seeds. Why is it? Yankee Sister said she never put the final video on the WIG 2022. I think he said it was due on the 18th, between the 15th and 18th. But Mike did post a video, and Mike even says, "Wow, guess what I did do? I didn't put this in hydroponics because I put two seeds in this pot, and I know I have to separate them. What I did do, I asked how much of the hydroponic fertilizer to put in a gallon of water. When I watered this bad boy, I put the hydroponic water in there. It needs to be watered now. So maybe I know that I'm not going to win the prize in the gardening, but guess what? We all won. We all won. Hello, Cassandra, South Fulton Garden. She says hello to everyone in the chat. Everybody who grew something inside that they would not have grown is a winner. I already won. I won because I now have fallen in love with hydroponics. Two different hydroponic systems have fallen into my Amazon cart and made their way here. I'm growing all these different. I did taste the seeds G Mama grows on the pumpkin, and I ate all the blossoms. Look, it just I've eaten the pumpkin leaves and all the blossoms, and they look so pretty on my salad. Any green stuff in my teeth, you guys? I don't want to be looking silly. We falling again. Yeah. So, and oh my gosh, my Tiny Tim tomato plant must have 20, 30 baby tomatoes on it. It's about 60 to 80 days. I should be able to harvest them at 120. And I'm just excited. I can have cherry tomatoes when I don't have anything else. Okay, you guys. So, if there are no questions, I'm going to take you over to my work area because I have something exciting to show you. Now, I was on my own page to see if I was missing anything. Barbara said, Miss Ellen, you're hilarious. No, this is just me. This is why I used to always get in trouble. I was supposed to be really bright when I was in school, so after I did my work, I would entertain myself by being a pain in the butt. being the silly one in the class. Usually they say the class clown is usually very bright. They just get bored. Erica, my five flam. Look, there goes that anesthesia, Stacy. Erica, my fly family. I bet I can't say that three times fast. Yes. So I'm going to get up and go to my work area because I want to show you an art quilt, something called thread painting, which is more than doing an applique and just putting fabric against a background. But three things I did complete to get ready to go out are, and I'll show you when I get up. This quilt is going to my aunt. The label is on it, everything is finished. I have another quilt, the rag quilt that I was working on, going to her sister. And my brother, the Marine Corps Semper Fi dude that barks, Yankee's sister says she stays in stitches all the time. We do. We have a good time laughing. You were too creative for the teacher in the class. You tell them, Miss Catherine. You just tell them. So I'm going to walk over here without making you throw up. Look at that pretty quilt back there. And this quilt is really different. And what's different about it, it's called a scrappy nine patch. I'm going to turn you around slowly. A scrappy nine patch. Every single block was individually cut and individually sewn. One of my friends who is Native American, my granny's garden says it's beautiful. This is antique fabric, fabric that you can't buy anymore, Native American fabric, vintage fabric. There's Civil War fabric in there. There is homespun in there. Every fabric that represents every part of the history of the United States is in there. G Mama Grow says she likes that quilt. Yeah, I was going to sell it, and I decided that I have two aunts living, and one asked for a quilt. She travels a lot, so I made her a rag quilt that she can take with her. It's not made out of rags. I used all new fabric for that one, but I made it so that she could take it with her whenever she goes to visit her children. And this other one is a nine patch. I will show you guys how to make a nine patch. It's really easy. I've shown you how to make a half square triangle. What I did with this quilt, it had so many colors in it, so many different fabrics. And I was legally blind at the time that I was doing it. So I just pick up two blocks and sew them together. Craziest colors are mixed together in each nine patch. So I wanted to separate them. So what I love in the old quilts, like with my grandma, feels like something green is still in my teeth. When my grandma used to do it, my grandparents weren't rich. They used unpleached muslin. I have seen quilts with cotton. You know how you pick cotton in the field and the combine machine doesn't get it all, or it ripens after the fields are picked. I've seen people go in the fields and pick cotton to put in quilts. I My mom has told me about people who put old coats into quilts. You know, a quilt was not a fashion statement like when I learned how to quilt. I learned how to quilt when I was 50, and I went to all these fancy quilt shops, bought all this fancy matching fabrics. Hello, always awesome Angela. Thank you for coming and welcome. I would ring my bell, but it's over there. And they didn't typically wash the quilts. They didn't have washing machines that spun them. They had no way to do that. They would hang the quilts out on the clotheslines, over the fences in the spring. Others use straw to keep their children warm. So, what I'm going to show you now, actually, I'm going to show you because a lot of you sew, but I want to show you a few things that are handy. For one thing, This thing is what is used for a screwdriver on sewing machines. When you come down and I don't know if you've ever tried to change a needle or something, and you got this big, you've got this big screw right here, this big screw. It's kind of hard to see at night, and I forgot to turn that other light on. So you use one of these things that comes in a lot of sewing machines. But guess what? Suppose you don't have one of these. You know what you do, bougie prepper? All you preppers, you use a dime, just a plain dime. It's about you're welcome, Miss Catherine, about the history of the quilt. An authentic. It's called a scrappy nine patch. I was telling you that I learned how to quilt. I bought all this matchy fabric, everything matched. And when I moved to North Carolina, I joined a quilting guild, and one of the ladies there used to take all the scraps. So I would take, I mean, like pounds of fabric, all this matchy expensive fabric, already ironed, put it in plastic bags. And I said, "What do you do with this leftover fabric?" And she said, "I make scrap quilts." And I said, "Well, how do you organize it?" I didn't understand how you do that. Now I know that quilt was made, each nine patch is made with 2.5 inch blocks. And when you sew them together with a 1/4 inch seam, you end up with a 6.5 inch block. What does a 6.5 inch block match up with? The half square triangle blocks that I showed you how to make. A couple of other quick things. You don't have to sew with a sewing machine. Those of you who want to sew by hand, you can sew denim. This is a leather thimble. The thimble, when you sew, it goes on your middle finger. And this, you put a couple stitches up and down when you're actually doing the quilting or sewing. Then you pull it through. Then you do a back stitch to seal it. Then you do a couple more stitches. Then you go, and this is a leather thimble. You will need a thimble whether you are sewing by hand or with a sewing machine. This is my favorite thimble. It's copper, and I have two of them the exact same size. People used to see collections of thimbles. This is antique, but I just love it. I love the way the copper feels. Let me see if I'm at the bottom of the chat. Hi, Maria Graham. Don't be sorry you're late. You're here. It's never late. It's never late. You never could get the hang of sewing with a thimble. Well, Yankee sister, if you ever get to those blocks that you have already cut out, no, I'm just kidding you. Those are for a sewing machine. But the it's supposed to go on this finger. I never like putting it on that finger, so I put it on this finger. My fingers are funny, different sizes, so I like to put it on this finger. But I'm like your parents say, "Do as I say, do. Don't do as I do." So I'm showing you the correct way to do it, and you use this. Those of you who crochet, I showed you a wristband the other day. Me at my age, I have arthritis in my hands, and one of my I don't know what happened to my gloves. One of my I have a 98-year-old lady in one of my classes. She lives in her own apartment by herself, and she just stopped driving her own car last year. So this is a crafting glove, and you can get them for both hands. She bought me one, and I lost my set with the two. But you put this on your dominant hand if you only have one. Another little gizmo when you don't want to iron or at your sitting at your ironing board, this little wooden thing is what they call a wooden iron, and you put it on a seam like I was doing, and you rub it, and that will flatten it. It's very hard and it's very sharp on the edges. So you don't have to have an iron, although I have a tiny, tiny portable iron. This last thing that I'm showing you is, I think it was a hair ornament. I think this one was a hair ornament, but I use it for a stiletto. Never, ever, ever put your fingers here. And I'm going to show you something because I'm going to show you on an art quilt. Hi, Darlene Reese. Welcome. Thank you for coming. And I appreciate each and every one of you for coming. So, what I wanted to get this was so that I can show you without my big old fingers being in the way. But when you're sewing curves, you have to have something pointy. You can use a chopstick. You can use whatever you want. You can use a tree branch. You can use a tree branch. Now you can really see this. So what I was going to tell you is when you're doing curves and sewing around here, don't get your finger here because sometimes it gets on the feed dog and gets pushed forward. I've seen people sew through their fingernails. I've seen people cut the tips of their fingers off with rotary cutters. So always protect your hands, and this will do it. Now I'm going to show you something really interesting and how to make an art quilt. This is one that I have prepared. You have to excuse me fumbling. I don't see black on black. And I want to show you how I made it. Doesn't this look like a sky and trees and the different tundra, the different ground? Well, what it is different strips of fabric that I sewed together. See all the different colors? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and of course the black. And it does have some symbol, and I pressed the seams open so they would be flat. Then I had a pattern that I wanted to use. I put some fusible fabric on the back. I traced it out like when I showed you over there, the comic books. You could just trace an animal, find some leopard fabric, some other stuff. And when you use the double-sided fusible fabric, that you heat press it so that these two pieces or these two are basically sewn, not sewn together. It's just heat fused together. There's a famous type of fusible called heat and bond light. I I buy it by the roll. You can buy it by the sheet in Walmart, and it says heat and bond light, and it's sewable. But you can take this and make two pieces of fabric into an art quilt. You've seen art quilts that are made to look like houses. So, in order to make any quilt at all, you have a backing. So, this is the backing for this little art quilt. On top of it, almost the same size, I put some cotton batting. Now, on top of that, I'm going to center. I'm working on different things, this new technology, this new YouTube, Auntie Ellen. I'm going to work on putting up more than one camera so that I can show you different angles. So now, what a quilt is, most people think that putting the top together is a quilt. That's not what quilting is. Quilting is when you actually put the three pieces together, the top the batting and the bottom. The actual quilting is when you use thread to put them all together. So I'm going to put a pin in one corner to keep them stable. This is a small piece. A pin in another corner. Basically, all four corners, I'm going to put a pin. And normally, if I was doing this quilt top, I would put black thread. But I put gold thread in it because I want you to be able to see where I'm stitching. So I'm going to make a small stitch there. I'm going to put in one. I'm going to put one in the middle. So basically, what I'm going to do is to finish this quilt. I can put more things, but I'm going to stitch along. This is black, black fabric. I'm going to stitch along close to the edge. I'm going to put a straight stitch so that you can see the stitching, and I'm going to put it along this pine tree. Along this pine tree, and then instead of just doing it along the edges, which is basic, you want to advance your skill level. You want to take some of the thread so that it goes into all these little shapes to outline your work. So let's try to do a little bit of that. So see how close I can get you. Okay, so again, for those of you who don't sew, you pull your bottom thread up. You probably can't see, but my bottom thread is black. I had black in the top, but then I realized you wouldn't be able to see it. It would be like invisible thread. And I have gold thread. I'm going to stitch real close to the edge. And when you're quilting, you don't start at the edge and go around. You normally start in the center of the quilt and work your way over. So I'm only going to put one tiny stitch. I back because I don't want it to come out. So I'm going to stitch along. What I'm doing is, since this pine tree is one of the main pieces of this quilt, this art quilt, I want to make sure that the pine tree is straight and not crooked, going all over the place. And it's really hard sewing black. If you ever have to sew black fabric, it's very hard sewing black on black. So you see this? Maybe not. I'm going to bring you real close. Maybe I can do this without knocking you on the floor. How about just a second? I have an idea. I don't want to have to buy another MacBook Pro, so try not to knock him on the floor. Okay, I think you're really close now. So now you can see those tiny little stitches, right? So that being said, I'm going to show you how I would go up along the edges of, I know Unbiased LLC loves this because she's always demonstrating how to do little things. So I'm going over near the edge, then I'm going to turn it again, And you will basically see these little tiny gold stitches showing you. Actually, I'll go a little further over here. And that's the thing about art. It's your choice. What you decide to do. So I'm going to go up. And I'm not going to do this whole thing, but I want to show you when I go back down some of the things that you can do to decorate your art quilts. Okay, so now I'm going past the line because I want to show you something. I'm going to show you how you make it fancy. And then I'll take it out of the machine and show it to you. And then I'm doing this with gold thread, but then you can mix it and put like green thread, other things. And then when you finish your piece, it looks really, really nice. And that's the difference between arts and crafts. It's the level of definition and effort you put into your work and to make it one of a kind. One of a kind. So I'm going to put you back over here so that I can hold this up and show you. Hello, the Analytic Gardener. Thank you for coming. So I just want to show you the tree that we just do you see the stitches on the tree? On this side were the black and the silhouette. So I will be eventually filling all that in, and that's all it is to do a quilt. If you were doing a regular quilt, you could do what they call stitch in the ditch. Stitch in the ditch. So did you guys, if you enjoyed this, raise your hand. Would you like to see some more of this? I love your art expression with fabric. It is so unique, one of a kind. Exactly, Miss Catherine. That's why I call myself a fiber artist, because it's the little things that you do to take yours a step above, a step ahead. And it's the little things that count. Those little bags, like the tote bag that I have over there, that little one starts at maybe 35 to 50, 60, $75. Google the Amish quilts. They're thousands and thousands of dollars. That quilt that I'm giving my aunt is actually in value thousands of dollars. And why are quilts so expensive? Well, they're expensive because you multiply the yardage. A king size, most people say they have a queen size bed, but a queen size bed, a quilt for that is 84 by 92 inches. Nobody wants a cover that their behind's going to be sticking out when you turn over, or their leg is going to get cold, or their feet is going to get cold. So nobody makes a quilt for a queen size bed that small. It's always a king size. So a king size quilt is usually 100 inches by 92. That veterans quilt that I made for my brother, it's 100 inches by 90. So it takes 8 yards of fabric for the front, 8 yards of fabric for the back. That's 16 yards, plus a yard for the binding. That's 17 yards. So you need the same amount of batting. I use cotton batting. So, well, let's do the fabric, because batting is a different amount. Some of the fabrics I buy, like the African fabrics, the batiks, hello, Tracy Anderson. Thank you for coming and welcome. Some of those fabrics, the import fabrics, the genuine fabrics that I buy from the people who live in these places, it's $20 a yard. So you figure 20 times 20, that's $400 right there just for fabric. Just for fabric. Then you have to buy your threads. You buy good thread. Then you have to buy the batting. So it costs me $500 out of my pocket to make a king size quilt. And that doesn't even include my time. I don't know how much you guys make an hour or when you were working before you retired. My great granddaughter has an after school job and they started her at over $15 an hour. So you figure 40, maybe 40 to 60, 100 hours on a quilt times even minimum wage, $15 an hour. That's a lot of money. That's thousands of dollars for a quilt. That's why I said I want to teach you guys how to make quilts. I can't make enough quilts for all of you. It's like, in the Bible, it says like teach a man to fish, but don't give them the fish. Thank you, Barb Brownlee. You like my artistic designs on fabric. I want you guys to know everything I know. I want you guys to know everything I know. So I haven't made much progress on my prepper bed, my what they used to call a homeless bed made out of the bags, because I didn't have any food delivered for 2 weeks. Got some today, so that project will go forward. And I'm just excited to have you guys here. Don't forget, next week we're having and an appreciation and monetizing party. I was supposed to do it today, but you see my little chipmunk face over here. Yeah, but I didn't. I didn't have what I really needed to make the pain go away. But I'm doing the best I could. I put some ice on it when we leave here. You like the jar on top of my cabinet with the jar? Oh, you saw that? These are dehydrated oranges. This is a handmade pincushion made by my sister, Joanne Stevens. Oh, maybe I'll stick a couple of these in the giveaway. These are keychains that I made with some of the scraps from the fabric from my quilts. This is like for the wrist, but if you don't want like a lanyard type, you can tie a knot so that it just fits over your hand and make it smaller if you want it. But waste not, want not. This fabric, $20 a yard. We are not throwing any of it away. Um, up here, oops, up here, you guys. This is mixed savory herbs. I have a lot of herbs. These are just. I have bottles of ground lemon. I have. This house is a few of my favorite things. A house of crafts. Yes, I just love it. This, if you had a museum, all this stuff is not going to fit in my casket. So I'm trying to narrow it down. So people when I'm gone won't say, "Oh, I had to get rid of all that stuff. Oh, I had to go to the dump so many times." And that's what happens. This stuff is of so much value to me. Honey, when I'm gone, it's just going to say, call the trash truck, call somebody, take it to Goodwill, give it to somebody. Nobody's going to want to be bothered. You like one what, Maria Graham? Keychain? Because, your moderator gift is coming. Yours, Boucher Prepper, the moderators. I'm running a little bit behind, but you're in the running. As soon as I get my aunt's quilts out, I will be able to do something. I have that strawberry fabric. I have dragonflies. Maria Graham, I already had yours and Boucher Preppers started. It's in the pile over here. So, oh, Maria Graham, you wanted the keychain. It's yours, and I know you like purple. Okay, you got it. Thank you. So, everybody, thank you for coming. And you can't see it, Maria Graham, but your handmade butterfly is over there. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching the replay, please leave a message because I have the free version of live stream and it doesn't save the chat. So the only way I can find out what's said is to just play it over and over and over again. Me too, Yankee sister. What? I'm getting ready to give away your Russian comfrey. No, no, I'm not giving it to your sister. Oh, thank you, Miss Catherine, for the super chat. Thank you. Thank you. Another great live, Sissy. Thank you for sharing. So, my mom's in the hospital, so everyone please give her a little prayer. I talked to her this morning and she asked me if I was going live, so she's going to make sure that somebody will let her see it, and she's going home tomorrow. She's just there for some minor tweaks. And Bouger Preppers is my three purple hearts. Yes, that's how I keep track of where I am. And this is an I in American Sign Language. This is an L. You turn your hands towards a person you're talking to. This is a U. I love you. Ego amo te, mother. That's how you say I love you in Latin. And thanks, everybody. I'll see you next week. And don't forget, we're having a giveaway.